Nope, I
Eh,
don't want to get claimed for that.
fair. I was
Um,
just making up my own song.
Welcome back to Not From Boston, everybody. I'm Bennett,
I'm Harold.
and this is gonna be a little different than the last couple of weeks. I think it's
It's
gonna be a weird
better.
one.
We're in a better headspace, I think. I mean, we haven't because of the time change, we haven't chatted as much in real time during the games, but
Yeah,
I definitely feel better.
yeah. Let's just get into it. Let's get into a recap. So we beat the Yankees. We took 2 out of 3 in the Bronx.
Crazy.
Lost the first game 6-9. Nice.
Yeah.
Walker Buehler got rocked. He gave up
Not a
seven
good start.
hits, 7 runs, uh, 2 home runs, and 2 walks in just 2 innings of work, which is not good. We won game two, 10-7, because Trevor Story woke up and went 3 for 5 with 5 RBIs. And then we took the rubber match 11-7 on ESPN Sunday Night Baseball
Dun,
with
dun, dun, dun,
five
dun,
home
dun.
runs. Christian Campbell went deep. Carlos Narvaez went deep. Abraham Toro sent one over the short porch. Trevor Story hit another bomb. And then Devers waited until the ninth inning to remind everyone that he is the Yankee Slayer
With
and
a
he sent one to the
bomb
moon.
way into the second deck.
So, do we want to talk about the Yankee series first?
Yeah,
Because we
let's
got some bigger stuff coming with the Rays.
let's go Yankees. I think we should just recap each series as it were. So,
Yeah.
um most important thing in the negative column. Let's just get this out of the way cuz there's a lot of a lot of positives to take. What is going on with Walker Bueller, man?
Yeah. So,
He's
here's the
not
thing.
he's not the guy I think returning from injury that he was at one point, and that's fine, but it's tough. I want to feel so much more confident with him when he's on the mound. And I don't not like I know he's capable of doing great stuff, but I don't have that like when Crochet takes the ball, even when Dobbins takes the ball, for the most part, I'm like, all right, we're gonna get a good start. We're gonna get a Bayo has thrown pretty much nothing but 6 innings, 3 runs. Like he's been a quality start machine. I
Yeah.
don't know what we're gonna get from Bueller every start.
Yeah. I mean, I think now with the benefit of having seen him pitch against the Rays,
Sure.
like it's changed a little. But I agree, he's not been having the bounce back year that we were hoping for.
No.
I think he knows that. I mean, I think you know there was a fair amount of risk in signing Bueller just because he was coming off of an injury in 24.
Mm-hmm.
Same with Giolito. But I do think a lot of these issues are not player specific, they are systemic. I do think our pitching lab, or so it's called, has some pretty serious flaws in it,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to our rotation. Actually, I think almost exclusively when it comes to our rotation. So I feel like that was for Bueller, that was a large part of it. He's definitely not a number two guy in our rotation, but I think he's like, um, he's he's just being Nick Pavetta. He's, kind
Yeah,
of
he's an
more of what
inning
we've
eater.
had before. Although
He's
Nick
an inning
Pavetta's
eater.
nice this year all of a sudden.
Yeah. I think it's really why I bring it up first, just to get it out of the way, is because I think it's so interesting living in Los Angeles and being surrounded by Dodger fans because everybody asks me all the time, "How's my boy Bueller doing? How's my boy Walker doing?" And I'm like, he's not great. Like
Yeah.
I mean, the numbers are not good. His what is his actual ERA after the Rays game? Because he definitely had a much better start and brought it down. 5.01 ERA. I mean, it's not looking great. It's not. I think he'll finish in mid to low fours if he keeps it up, which is fine. But
Yeah.
I do think the expectations of someone like that, especially with his postseason performances, we came into it. I remember we were talking about it, thinking like, "Fuck, we might have just that might be the steal of the offseason." And he's been serviceable, but not really anything else. And so I think it's just can he and do you have faith that he is capable of turning it around and being like he's not going to be an ace, but like a very strong three spot in the rotation.
We did turn that game into a ball game. It was like I think like a
It
what a
was
five
close.
nothing lead at the
Yeah.
top of it, and I
Mm-hmm.
mean we did make it a closer game. We did make it tight for a couple of innings there, and then lost it 9-6. I still felt like in that series, I mean, or in that game, that the Red Sox were still in it. I mean, I will say like that is kind of like if I have to say a nice thing about how the season's going, it is that this team is clearly got some fight in them for 90% of the game, and like they will, um there aren't, you don't really get a ton of games. You think there's maybe been like two or three this year where they like fully just say fuck it and don't push. But um I mean, they grinded out a couple of 6 runs from the Yankees, so like that's you know um I mean, I think that was still in its own way impressive. And I think we did, and then I think we carrying that energy into the rest of the series. I mean, I think surprised me at the very least. I was not expecting a series win. I mean, I was like optimistic, like I would love I would, wanted one, but I was like, I don't know if I'm going to get one.
Yeah, I think seeing, obviously game 2 getting the win is important. Seeing Trevor Story come alive, hopefully, I mean, at this point with him, we're looking at, can he hit a 700 OPS and a 250 batting average? Like those are kind of the bars, the numbers that would make me look at the end and be like, all right, he ended up having a decent enough season. But seeing him go off, I think he said he was 3 for 5.
3 for 5 in game 2, yeah.
With 5 RBIs. Yeah. I mean, that's a great game. And he came up with the clutch hits with the runners in scoring position. He had that bases clear with the runners in scoring position. So, that's a huge sign of forward momentum. I certainly think, I was talking to my dad about this, I feel as though having these young guys on the team is going to give the veterans some motivation to play better. Not because I think they think their spot is at risk, but I just think it's inspiring in a way. Mm-hmm. Like, it definitely feels like since Meyer has come up, even though he's been in and out of the lineup, he's obviously been in the lineup. We'll talk about him in a bit.
Yeah.
For the Rays series, but he's been in and out of the lineup. But I think having him up, and that was pre-Anthony call-up, but I think having young guys that are capable is inspiring to the veterans who aren't playing well. And I have to give Trevor Story a lot of credit. Mm-hmm. His quotes about what he's been battling, like his slump, have been really good. He's like, yeah, I've been awful, and it's the worst, and I'm really, really working hard to get out of it. Like, he's not hanging his head and not showing up. A lot of these guys, dude, like we've seen so many MLB players like fucking throw in the towel, stop hustling. Mm-hmm. They fucking throw their helmet in the dugout. He's actually been a consummate professional the whole time. He's been playing the field at an elite level this entire time. He's mastered that short chop, Baltimore chop. He runs in and fields it with his glove and flips it. Like, he's made some amazing plays at short and kept us in ball games because of it. So it's great to see him go off offensively. And I think it's just winning the second game of the series was the first time, even if I was like, we might not win this series. That was one of the first times I had some remaining belief in the team. I was like, okay, they are capable of winning big games. They're not just going to show up here and get blown away and get swept.
Yeah. I mean, it was definitely like, we showed, like, it's like, great. Like, we showed up against the Yankees. It's like, now you got to show up against whoever you're playing next. And
it has to be every series now.
And not just to beat the Yankees as much as I like beating the Yankees. You want to talk about Hunter Dobbins?
Yeah, I have been throughout the season very impressed with him. I know he's had a couple not great starts, but he hasn't had any like blow-ups, I don't think. I mean,
no, but he had that quote before game 3.
Oh my God.
Like, if I like, I'd retire before I'm a Yankee. First of all, I was like, that's verbatim what Ken Griffey Jr. said. And you are, no offense, you are not Ken Griffey.
You're not Ken Griffey Jr.
But I was like, that's it's cool. If I know anything about being a Red Sox fan and about the universe, that's gonna come back and bite you in the ass come game time.
Yeah, but
and then it did at first. I mean, Judge hitting that home run, I was like, I could have fucking told you that Judge was gonna hit that home run. But then he still pitched really well. He still, he still got the win. He went 6 solid. It was still a good performance. And then the New York, sports media is still kind of obsessed with him, and ESPN wouldn't shut the fuck up about that quote. It was so annoying.
Yeah, it's gonna make its rounds. The Red Sox, I swear, are the most like media team this year. Like everything, it's like the Devers shit. I don't know, but look, I'm a notorious smack talker when I play sports.
Yeah,
I'm really cool until you do some fucked up shit to my, like if I'm playing first base. And you come on, I'm like, what's up, bro? Hey, nice hit, way to hit it. And then we've played a couple teams in our league where like dudes will say some whack shit, yo, I'm gonna fucking sit your ass down in the dugout, and then I'm not cool anymore. So I love a little smack talk. Yeah. I love a little dig. I'm fine with it as long as he doesn't go when the Yankees come to our place in a week and a half.
No, and
next
like
week?
tomorrow.
Oh, is it tomorrow? I thought it was
Yeah,
next
yeah, yeah.
weekend.
It was
Okay.
Yankees, Rays, Yankees.
Right. All right. Well, great. So if they show up at our house and he pitches and he gives up, which he will, he's going to pitch the last game of the series, I think.
Yeah.
So if he gives up a fucking 6 spot, then maybe don't say that. But
Right. Yeah.
Trash talk looks really, really great when it works. But I'll never forget 2018 Aaron Judge playing New York in the clubhouse, the Red Sox away clubhouse. And then they proceeded to get smacked. The game you went to, the Brock Holt cycle game. So, but I do like his game. I have to say, he's one of our more consistent guys. Like I said, he's had a couple starts that haven't been great, but he typically gets through 5 and gives up 2 or 3 runs. It's good to have someone that's going to be consistent.
And he's a young guy. He's
a rookie.
Yeah. I wish I lost my train of thought. It's around here somewhere. But with I know where I was gonna go with this, because Jazz Chisholm made a thing. He's like, I forget what he said, something about smoke. It was dumb, but I don't think I laughed harder than when he's mic'd up on ESPN, which also I hate.
Oh my gosh,
I hate that shit.
Yeah,
so much.
In the middle of a game, yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, watch this! Ground ball comes to third." I'm like, he's gonna throw that away, and he throws it far, far away. He just like it just goes sailing, and he's just like, "Oh shit."
Yeah, that was pretty funny. It was actually a good play. To be fair to him, it was a good play.
No, great scoop.
Scooping the ball. But he's also not a third baseman. I mean, we've seen it a few times now. He's a middle infielder.
But I just need
or an
he's
outfielder.
Just talking so much shit about Devers not moving positions. He's like, I'll move positions. I don't care. It's good for the team. Oh, let me just throw this ball like into Jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny as hell. I loved that.
I do. I have like a weird soft spot for him.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's a Yankee, so like fuck him. But he seems like an all right guy. He's funny. But anyway, let's talk about the rubber match game, the ESPN game, because obviously we scored 10 runs in the game before, but it felt like it was on the back of Trevor Story for the most part. Mm-hmm. How about the whole team just suddenly waking up in game 3 of that series? Christian Campbell with one of the sexiest in and out swings you're ever going to see. I love me a right field porch. Dude, he gave me the Manny Ramirez for a second, like a split second, but I love me a good inside out Oppo Taco home run. And obviously it's Yankee Stadium, but love to see that. And I have to say, we were texting about this a little bit. I messaged you this, but Abraham Toro is like going to be on the All-Star ballot. Like what the hell? That guy is playing out of his mind.
I think he's been really, really good. I think it's been awesome. I don't know if I'd go full All-Star.
If he keeps it up for the rest of the month, I would say he's not going to make the All-Star team. Goldschmidt's going to make the All-Star. Like, as a first baseman, he's not going to make it. But I'm just saying, like, he'll be a sneaky guy that gets, like, 30% of the votes. You're like, damn, he did pretty good. But
yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see, like, I think he'll be on the roster. He'll probably be on the roster for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I think so.
Like where, I mean, if he stays above 300 batting average, like that's incredible. Like that's a career year, and like it's the real thing. I think even if he like finishes the season with like a 280, like I think that's
he's still had a great year.
I think it's just a question to me of like, this guy has never been an everyday guy. He's never been a starter.
Right.
So, can he play baseball as a starter? And once we get to like September, I feel like we'll have a better sense of like the answer to that question.
Yeah.
But I think
I'm just looking at his numbers. Bro, he got a 928 OPS. Yeah. With only 94 at bats, he's got 31 hits. Yeah, dude, I mean, the reason I bring him up too, though, is it's not just the hitting. How about the play at first to keep his foot on the bag? Yeah. He basically dove off the back corner of the bag. Who threw that? Was that Meyer who threw that?
That was back in like against
that was in the Yankee series.
You're talking about this. Okay. Yeah.
He was defending the bag. The one you're talking about, different play. He was on first base and someone threw him the ball and he basically kept his foot barely attached to the bag while diving to get the ball from a bad throw. That was, I can't remember if that was the last game or if that was game 2, but that was a crazy play. And I mean, he's one of these utility guys, third base, first base. They could probably stick him in the corner outfield positions if they needed to. But
yeah,
that, to me, I'm like, dude, you look like prime Kevin Youkilis out there. Like, that was unbelievable. And I'm just impressed with his hustle. He's also clutch. He always hits with runners in scoring position. I feel more confident with him at the plate than Devers right now with runners in scoring position.
Yeah, I mean, he's been a good ad. I mean, he's I think come through for us, which has been really it's been really nice. I mean, I don't think there's much more can say about him other than
Yeah,
that.
I'm just impressed. I'm very impressed. Obviously, Rafael Devers is just a bona fide Yankee killer. He is the second fastest Red Sox player in history to get to 30 home runs against the Yankees. I believe it took him 120 games.
Yeah.
And I think it took Manny Ramirez like 104, which is crazy. I can't remember the exact numbers off the top of my head, but
that's including Manny's like Indians years, right?
no, I think it's Red Sox Yankees.
Oh. All right.
I mean, Manny was a dog, bro. Prime Manny, like I know it's easy to hate on him now because of the roids and everything, like his antics and stuff, but dude, he was a dog.
He was, I mean,
special player.
He's a monster. It's crazy.
Did you see his real quick? Did you see his post, his tweet that he's been sending? So funny. He's like, any of the 30 teams want to hire me as a hitting coach. Like, I'm ready.
I think we should.
I'd take him.
I think John Henry's like, absolutely the fuck not.
Yeah, he's like, don't get that guy near my clubhouse. Who's going to make everybody want to trade. But yeah, what do you think about our rubber match there?
I mean, I thought it, went really well. I mean, I think we gave up more runs in the back half of that game than I would have liked, but like we had a comfortable enough lead, I guess. I don't know, it did feel like there are just like some games, I guess, where I've been watching the Sox this year, and this being one of them, where it's like I'm seeing the things that are working and I'm like, this is really cool, but are you going to do this tomorrow too?
Yeah.
Like, or are we going to kind of like, is this fleeting? And like, I think for me, it's been, I think in the moment enjoying watching the Sox play and coming away with, opinions in the moment. But I think, kind of looking back or trying to look at it in the context of like the whole season, I'm like, I think it's been hard to plug in to know how certain games are going, because I'm like, I don't know, like it's great, but it's only great if it continues to be, it's a pattern of performance, and this isn't just like we're this good every 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
But,
let's
talk about the Rays.
Yeah, obviously the big news, the big news, which I think we were shocked by. Based on
not anticipating that at all. But Abreu, I guess, got on the IL. So
yeah, so we'll talk about that too. That actually is a big thing. He hasn't quite looked right that weekend specifically, and I know he tweaked something in his oblique. But Roman Anthony, arguably the most hyped Red Sox prospect since Dustin Pedroia. I mean, Dustin Pedroia wasn't even a hype prospect in that way.
Yeah, I mean,
the most hyped.
Mookie Betts was a prospect.
Yeah.
So
okay. So either way, like one of the most hyped prospects that we've had in a fucking long time. Also, the number one prospect in Major League Baseball is now officially a Boston Red Sox player. He had his Major League debut. The Roman Empire has begun. Not the best debut for Roman Anthony. However, it wasn't bad. He actually hit the ball twice. They made 2 good plays. He hit that one ball, I think it said it was 111 miles an hour off the pitcher. And then he hit one into left that was well played in the outfield.
In 2 at-bats, he got more RBI than Connor Wong has had all season long.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so we'll have to talk about that too. But obviously the error in right field was tough. It happens. I'm not particularly mad about that because Abreu, who is a Gold Glover, has actually already done that exact error twice. Yeah. So it happens. I've seen Mookie do that.
But also Roman Anthony came in and he's like, hey, forget about all that shit for game 2. I'm going to go
rip a double down the line, score 2 runs, and then I'm going to make a diving catch.
Yeah.
So much better second game.
It was a much better second game. His family made it to that game. When I saw his family at the game, I actually did think of you because I was like, how does it feel to have like some more like representation in the Boston Red Sox? Because that is the most Italian family I've ever seen in my life.
Dude, Do you know his dad's name is Anthony Anthony?
So is his brother.
Yeah, crazy.
It's
That's crazy.
fucking hilarious. I mean, yeah, I was just like, yeah, it's like Leslie
Wild.
Ann's got to be thrilled.
Wild. But it's great to have up. It's really great. We were texting about this too, to see Anthony Meyer Campbell all in the lineup. That is
Yeah,
awesome. I mean, that just feels so good. And I feel like we're, as fans, we're like vindicated now. It's like, okay, finally, it took an injury, but the team is doing the right thing. Like, we have these guys that we've known for like a year are going to be up here.
yeah,
And I will say with Anthony, teams are already scared of him because the way he's been pitched to so far, he only has that one hit. Bro, he's looking at some big league pitches. I was messaging my dad. He struck out in the first game with like basically the three most perfect pitches I've ever seen. It was like dotted low and outside fastball, low and inside sinker, and then like the most major league curveball. Just a huge sweeping 12-6 right front door,
yeah.
bottom corner. Like,
I mean,
teams know what he's capable of.
his first hit, his only hit so far, but it was a first pitch changeup that was out of the
Yeah,
zone,
way out of the zone.
and he just took it the opposite way. And I
Bullet.
think against Pepiot, who is not,
Who's
you
been
know,
good.
who's not known for throwing shitty curve or shitty changeups. So I think he's got a very mature attitude at the plate. I mean it's gonna happen. He's gonna click. He's gonna start hitting balls and getting hits. It's just like a matter of time. He's been there for what, 3 games. So,
Yeah, 3 games.
but yeah. So I mean, also the series went well. We took 2 out of 3. We lost the first game 10-8 in extras. Brian Bayo gave 6 1/3, and then Zach Kelly blew it in extras.
We're going to talk about that, but go through the recap of the whole series. We're going to talk about that, but yes.
And then, game 2 was a whole different thing. We won that game 3-1. Roman Anthony got that hit. The Red Sox only used 3 pitchers. We had Giolito for 6 innings, who gave up just 1 run, and then Whitlock and Weiser shut the door. So, like that, I mean, we haven't been doing that in a while. And then we took the series, game 3, with a 1-run win,
Yeah,
as opposed to a 1-run loss, which is like
which
refreshing.
is
And
very
Buehler
refreshing.
through 7 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs, 7 strikeouts. Marcelo
Yes.
Meyer hit 2 home runs, and he
Smoked.
didn't give a fuck the whole time. He was so chill.
He smoked 2 home runs, like absolute no doubters off the bat.
Yeah.
Um,
Toro and Durant
So-
also hit homers.
Duran hit a home run. Yeah, and Toro. Yeah, we had all solo home runs. So, listen, the extra inning game, there's a couple things about the loss. Yes, Zach Kelly could not shut the door. However, I hate to do this. I hate to play this card. That is one of those games where I'm going to look back at the end of the season and say, man, the ump fucked us out of that game.
Yeah.
Because 2 things happened.
Well, the Romy thing.
Yes. So the first thing that happened was in extras for the Rays. I think it was Yandy. I don't know their team very well. Aranda took a pitch on the bottom corner of the plate, like it was in the bottom, tick of the box for ball 4, and he ended up scoring in extra innings.
Mm-hmm.
So that would have been strike 3. So that shouldn't have happened. I can let one of those slide. Gonzalez comes up, who's also been great, by the way. Rami's been really good. Comes up, obviously extra innings. There's the runner in scoring position. There were 2 runners on. Takes a full count pitch 2 inches below the zone. That ball was never above the knees. It was a sinker that started low and finished lower. That was never a strike. And without hesitation, gets punched. And then Cora gets ejected.
Yeah.
Which rightfully so, I would go. But, dude, you can't make that call. That's not a borderline pitch. That is not a borderline pitch. That pitch started. I'm like really angry. I was fucking fuming at the TV. I had a couple guys over and we were watching the game and I was like, what the fuck? Like, that pitch started 2 inches below the plate and it sunk. That is never a strike. And that's unacceptable.
I mean, not to sound totally delusional, but I am at the point where I fully buy into this conspiracy that umpires are making moments about themselves, like blowing calls, making big deals out of nothing, and fucking shit up out of like some kind of coordinated protest about.
I think there's validity to that.
Or they're betting on games and they have money on, someone striking out or not winning.
Because listen, we've seen Joe West and Angel Hernandez be Joe West and Angel Hernandez. That there's two pieces to it. There's the ejections, which when we get into Major League news, I'll bring that up a little bit. But there's been like a slew of egregious ejections.
Yeah.
Like ridiculous. Like the one with, do you see Nico Horners? Did you see that?
No.
He literally, another pitch, never in the strike zone. Never in the strike zone. Full count pitch. It's clearly ball four. Gets punched out. He does not. He literally looks at the umpire and says, "You're having a terrible game, man." Immediately gets thrown. And that's like, you're allowed to say that, dude. He's not arguing balls and strikes. You can't take a little bit of it. Dude, the umpires fucking talk shit and go out, and as we saw with Walker Buehler, they instigate things. Like, you can't take a little bit of heat. You just throw him out of the game.
Yeah. Oh, that
the
pitch
thing
is
with,
inside. I just pulled up the clip.
It's crazy. And then the thing with, what's his name? The guy from the Rays, Tanner Walls, where he touches his helmet and gets ejected. Like, that's ridiculous. You can't get ejected for that. And so I'm so unimpressed with these umpires. This is the worst it's ever been. And I know every year everybody says that, but I've been watching baseball for a long time. This is unusual.
Yeah. I mean, it's different because in like years past, it's like, oh, these guys just suck at their jobs. Even though actually I think like the stats don't really back that up, but like it appears like they've been worse at their jobs. This year, it's like, it's that, but also like they're clearly taking it all so personally.
Yeah.
Which we haven't had to deal with before, and it's really fucking weird. I don't understand it. I mean, I just don't think that just happens. It just doesn't make sense.
I'm not impressed, man. I'm really unimpressed. It's like, and to lose the game, it's obviously not because of that, but that's 2 outs. You have bases loaded, 1 out, or who hits after Gonzalez? I don't remember who was the last out in that game, but either way, you have 2 outs, first and second. Like, there's a big difference. So I just felt really aggrieved by that. Obviously, we bounced back game 2. Roman Anthony with the hit.
Yeah.
Giolito had a great game.
Great game. Yeah.
And we need that. He had a horrible start. Excuse me. He started game 1 against New York, and that was not a good start for him.
Yeah. Him and Buehler both like had bad
They
games.
go back and forth. They were
both like, we suck. And then they came out their next 2 starts and they showed up a completely different pitcher. But you're right. It is about like, I am like, it's cool for this, but like, I'm only going to really be impressed if you show up as the guy
consistently
who throws 6 or 7 innings again, not the guy who gets
did it
knocked
once
out in a second.
Yeah. And the big highlight for me in that game was actually Weissert shutting the door in the 8th inning with the bases loaded. Man, he put his big boy pants on and just shoved a fastball, full count, bases loaded, 2 outs. Like, we need that energy. Like, he was electric walking off the mound. Let's go. Like, that's what this team needs.
The thing is, like, our bullpen is really good. I stand by that. Our bullpen is really good when they're not like being fucking hammered to death by having to rescue the rotation. Like, they suck when they're overworked, but like, no shit. That's how that works. But when like they've been rested, they've been good. I mean, 44 pitched well to end the series. But yeah, I mean, I'm that's what happens when like our starters can go 6 or 7 innings, is our bullpen gets to actually, pitch instead of trying to stop the bleeding.
Yeah.
I will say,
it's great.
The highlight to me, the entire series, like, which had nothing to do with Roman Anthony whatsoever, is when Carlos Narvaez threw out. Who was it? Was it? I don't
remember who was stealing.
Is it Junior Caminero?
Oh, Caminero. Yeah.
Caminero threw him out. The tag from Meyer was perfect. The throw was immaculate. Also
threw a dart.
Carlos Narvaez is a backwards hat catcher guy, not a helmet guy, and I fucking loved that. That was so
I think
cool.
He's both. I think he's the backwards hat with the helmet. Like he wears the hockey helmet with a backwards hat under. That's pretty sick. Yeah, that's great.
It's pretty. He's such a cool dude, and I'm like, thank you, Yankees, for that.
It's pretty unbelievable. I mean, he's been great, and I think he's very clearly. I mean, I feel bad for Wong because I know again what he's capable of, but there's not a clear. He's going to catch once a week now. Like it has to be Narvaez.
The thing is, like, Wong is not even close to where Narvaez is defensively. Like there's just no competition there. It's like the thing that I think that Wong has going for him is was his bat because his bat was good last year, but Narvaez has got a bat too, and Wong, has sucked with the bat this year. So it's like, what does Wong bring to the table other than just being a human with a pulse?
Yeah. I don't really know. I mean, I think.
No offense to Connor Wong, but
no, I mean, I obviously he's struggling, so I hope he
yeah.
figures it out. Like, I like Connor Wong, but he's not. You can't. There's a point where you can't justify starting someone anymore, and he is gonna start games because he's a catcher. Catchers can't start 162 games. Like, it's not your knees are gonna give. So
yeah,
he'll start once or twice a week, but he needs. I mean, he was brought in as quote unquote an offensive catcher.
Yeah,
he's supposed to be an offensive player. Like, he's a decent enough catcher. He's a good pitch framer. He has a decent arm, but like Narvaez and him, to me, we did the number crunch. Actually, Narvaez is better defensively. Narvaez leads the major leagues in defensive runs saved by catchers. So
yeah,
he has to start.
The only reason Kyle Riley will start ahead of him is because Kyle Riley is an offensive machine.
He's the best. I mean, he's the best power hitter in baseball. He has more homers than Judge and Ohtani. Yeah. He's a big dumper.
Not even being mean. It's just an accurate description. But the thing is, like, the Red Sox do need to do more to invest in their development of catchers, like in their pipeline of catchers, because it's the same as first base, I think if we hadn't traded it for Narvaez and like Connor Wong had gotten hurt, in a long-term way like Casas had, like, we wouldn't have options because we traded Kyle Teal.
Mm-hmm.
So I really want to see the Red Sox, like, first and catcher are like two positions where I'm like, we need depth.
Yeah, we do.
Show me
now. Interestingly, at first, Toro makes the situation so much more interesting because of how good he's been. And again, I agree with you. For like a month, he's looked like an all-star.
Yeah.
Is that just going to be a really good May, June, or is that going to be like at the end of the year he has a 900 OPS and he sneaks an MVP vote or two, and you're like, how did that happen?
But even still, I don't think Toro is like a long-term solution.
No.
For the club.
However, Rami Gonzalez has also been really good.
Yeah.
So we have two guys that are above a 900 OPS right now that are hitting 300. I mean, they're not slugging the ball out of the park. Toro is a little bit. I think Gonzalez only has like one homer, but those guys are hitting the ball.
6.
Yeah. So it's an interesting like platoon of guys that like maybe shouldn't be as good as they are, but they are.
But they're not. Yeah, but they're still not going to be guys who like stick around for. I would even say 3 years is like a stretch for those guys, for even a combo of those guys. So like, I do think the Red Sox do need to either sign an established first baseman or trade for an established first baseman or develop one through the system. And right now we don't have that.
Yeah, I would agree.
I'm curious with all this because we took 2 series in a row and we're now 2 games under 500. We can get back over 500 if we sweep the Yankees, which
we'll see.
But how's your outlook on this season change watching now that you've watched a couple of games where the big 3 are up together?
It has changed just because it's still early. If this was mid-August, it wouldn't change. I'd be like, oh, well, they have to do a lot more to prove me wrong. But we're 3 games, I believe, out of the wild card, and we're 2 games under 500. The irony and the reason I say it has changed is because I remember like a month ago or so, we looked at the schedule and we said these next 4 series before the Yankees are so important. We have the Orioles, we had the Blue Jays, Atlanta, like we had series that we needed to win, and we didn't win any of them except Atlanta. So it was like, fuck.
Yeah.
Like the season feels pretty much over because we're probably going to get swept by the Yankees. We'll probably get beat by the Rays, and we'll probably lose to the Yankees 2 out of 3. If they find a way to win this series at Fenway 2 out of 3, I'm going to have a very, very different outlook on the season because that knocks out 2 of the tougher teams that we're going to play this year. The Rays have been really good. They're a very good team.
Yeah.
And their pitching has been excellent. If we beat them in the first series away, we beat them at home. If we beat the Yankees at home, I'm going to go out on a whim and say it's back to a 50-50 shot that we make the playoffs. Where right now, I mean, I would say at the beginning of last week, I was like, there's no way in hell. Like, we're not making the playoffs. We were even talking about, we were texting off camera, like, what are we going to do when this gets out of hand. Like, what are we going to talk about during
Yeah.
this? What about you?
But so I think I'm. I've like peaked, like it's piqued my interest. I've like raised my eyebrow, like, huh, okay. I'm seeing things that I like. It did feel like with this, that there were things were starting to click in this series with the Rays, where just like, I really do think just Roman Anthony being there just changes
It does,
the
for
dynamic
sure.
of this team.
It does.
The lineup is just so much deeper with him in it. Having him bat in the middle of the lineup, it's just like it makes it so much. It feels much less like a minor league team, ironically. But I just felt like we started to see kind of the things that we were seeing, like the fact that we had a game where we only used 3 pitchers, the fact that like 2 of our starters went deeper than 5 innings. Marcelo Meyer demonstrated he had power. A lot of our guys are demonstrated they had power. Those things all made me feel optimistic. We weren't like making we had a couple errors, but we weren't, playing like bullshit little league, baseball on the field. And then just like, I think looking at what the last 2 weeks have been, we were all so out on Trevor Story, and
he's been better.
2 weeks, and he's hitting 283 with a 522 slug and 849 OPS.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh shit, is Trevor Story back? Like coming back? Christian Campbell, not as good.
But he's been better.
250 average and a 726 OPS. I'm like, that's an improvement. Like, okay, cool. You're right about Toro and Gonzalez. Those guys are like great. Like those are like, they're bench guys, but they're great bench guys. They're elite.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, do all of those things continue? Do those trends continue in that direction that they're currently going? Because if so, then I'm like, this team might come back to life.
I think offensively they do, for sure. But we've highlighted it a few times, and so has every other Red Sox comment or content creator. The starting pitching is the big thing. Because here's the other thing about offense. These last few series, other than maybe the first game against New York, we've been in the fight from the beginning.
Yeah.
Like Dobbins had kind of a rough first inning. He gave up the home run to Judge, but we're not down like 6-0 in the third inning for any of these games. So when you feel like you have a fighting chance, there's sort of the White Sox effect to things where I was talking with my dad about Andrew Benintendi recently, how like he just didn't pan out to be what we thought. But you got to wonder how much of that is him being on basically just a non-competitive team. It's hard to fire yourself up. Like these guys live on testosterone. You know what I mean? Like, let's fucking go. Like it's really hard to have that pumping through your veins when in the third inning you're down 8-0. So
right.
If we have 3 or 4 guys that go out and pitch a competitive ball game, if Giolito keeps pulling it together, if Walker pulls it together, if we have Dobbins throwing well, Bayo's actually been really good. I think he's been solid. He's not amazing, but he's literally a quality start machine. He gets 6 innings, 3 runs almost every game. And obviously Crochet is Crochet. So if that happens, then yeah, I do think that the trend continues. If we put together 3 or 4 days of the week where we have really good starts from our starting pitchers, it's what's interesting to me is we go through these phases, it seems like, where we strike out a lot. Hasn't happened these last couple weeks. Even in the series away at Atlanta, we didn't strike out that much. The first game I think we did, and then we didn't. But that's the thing that's going to signal to me, once we start swinging at pitches way out of the zone, which has been a huge problem, our swing rate is really bad. I mean, we have like Devers and Cedon are like the 2 freest swingers in baseball, but
Devers has a 400 on base.
On base. He's been a lot better this year. And actually Cedon has been much better lately too. So, but that's what I mean. Can we keep this approach and continue to hit baseballs, not only because we're hitting the baseball, but because we're getting on base and have guys on?
Yeah.
I think we can. I think it comes from confidence. I think you're probably right about the Anthony and the Meyer effect. Like those guys coming up is a shot in the arm for the team. Story is kind of, in my view, the de facto clubhouse leader. And him performing well makes him more likely to be a leader. It's very hard to be in a leadership role when you're not playing well.
Yeah.
And so I think that's going to help. What I would say is it's a good period right now. Let's enjoy it. Let's just kind of let it play out. I think if we sneak, who's after the Yankees?
Oh, that's a great question.
This was the one I had. These next few series are the ones that I had circled, but I don't remember who's after.
Wait, where are we? We're in June. After the Yankees, it's the Mariners. We go to Seattle.
See, like that's another good team.
Yeah.
It's kind of contingent on the next couple series.
2 series. We go to Seattle and then we go to San Francisco.
Okay. Oh.
But then we play the Angels.
Yeah, but the Angels took 2 out of 3 in Boston. They do that every year. They always do that. I swear. They do that to the Dodgers too.
I mean, this is a tough schedule for us. It gets like we then play the Blue Jays and then we play the Reds. So
yeah, there's not a lot of bad teams in baseball. There's a few really bad teams, and then there's a lot of teams like us that are capable.
Wait, the Reds? That means that that's when Tito will be back at Fenway.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. How about that?
Oh, and they're wearing their I think they're wearing their 1975 jerseys against the Reds.
Cool. Very cool.
Because that is, I mean, that was 50 years ago. Fuck.
Yeah, crazy, huh?
Going like this was 50 years ago. That's crazy.
Wild. But yeah, I don't know. I think it can continue. That was a very long, verbose answer, but I think it is contingent on if the pitching keeps us in ball games. It's very hard to swing the bats well when you're not in competitive games.
Yeah, I mean, you got to, looking at the rotation, like we're having trouble with our velo. We're not throwing a ton of first pitch strikes. We're not throwing as many as we should be. Our whiff rate isn't great either. It's like 25%. The innings is, I think, the big thing is like the innings. The Stars throw more innings. I think that makes everything better. I even think if I, am in, the room with Andrew Bailey and the starters like right now, I'd be like, hey, you got to get comfortable with throwing 6 innings, even if you give up 4 or 5 runs.
Yeah.
Like you got to be prepared. Like let's just settle on the fact that when you start, you're going to give up 3 to 5 runs. And like that is like A-okay. Do not like go out there and try to shove, just 1 run or a shutout or 2 runs. Like just you're going to give out some runs. That's fine. This offense can fight back against 5 runs.
Yeah.
What we can't do is have you like lose control in inning 2 and give up 7 or 8 runs. That's a whole different thing. But, just get to, the 6th inning. If you give up 4 or 5 runs along the way, like that's okay. 4 or 5 over 6 is different than 7 or 8 over 2.
Yeah, I agree. Like it's amazing that we even made a game in that first Yankees game.
Because all you need to do is like, it's like once we get, like say Giolito comes in, he goes 6 innings, but he gives up 5 runs and the Red Sox score 3. It's like, okay, 5-3. Whitlock or Weiser, like those guys will hold the door there. They'll hold you at 5-3. Like they're gonna keep that score where it is and give the Sox time to score more runs. Like, but they can't do that if they're coming in the 3rd inning.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
So
do you want to talk about some of the stuff that Cora has said?
Yes, I have a very.
I'm not entirely sure what he's thinking, obviously, but
so for those who aren't junkies like we are, Alex Cora told everybody, I think, in a press conference, but
Mass Live was the main one. Yeah,
he told everyone on Wednesday that he intends to bench Roman Anthony and Marcelo Meyer, who are left-handed hitters, when left-handed pitchers are on the mound. He said, quote, "I've had conversations with Marcelo in New York, and today I talked to Roman about a lot of stuff, including pinch hitting. They're all in to win. They know we'll keep doing that. Yeah, there's a balance, but I don't think people here are happy with where we're at. This team is supposed to play better baseball and be in the hunt. We're not there yet. My job is to try and maximize matchups and help winning games. We haven't done that. I think Romy has done an amazing job. Ref's done an amazing job. And the kids, they understand. They know." So I guess Cora has done this before. He's done it with Devers. He did it with Duran when they were rookies. He did it with Casas as well, where he sits left-handed batters earlier in their careers when left-handed pitchers are on the mound.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's an antiquated attitude.
Yeah.
I think in this particular case, it defies logic.
There's only one instance in which it makes sense, and that, in my opinion, is if you have a like-for-like replacement defensively. It's difficult with Ref Snyder because he destroys left-handed pitching.
Yes.
Like he demolishes. He literally might be the best left-handed pitching hitter in baseball. I mean, I don't know if there's any like straight platoon guy that hits lefties as well as he does. Meyer's numbers in AAA are not great against lefties. Anthony, I would not bench him at all. If I'm being totally honest, I wouldn't, especially because Abreu's out. And here's where it gets complicated. The like-for-like replacement would be Anthony for Refsnyder. Refsnyder's not an infielder.
Right.
Meyer is the guy that maybe could not play this year against lefties as much. Because I do believe that we have to play the best team. Right now, like, we can't be experimenting right now. We have got to win ball games. However, I think not only were Anthony's numbers good against AAA lefties, and I know AAA versus majors, I get it, but like he was hitting like 360 against lefties. Like he was freaking destroying the ball. So give him a shot to face some major league lefties. To be honest, Abreu has cooled off, but we gave him a shot at the beginning of the year to hit lefties, and he was crushing them. So go ahead. Just the difficulty is like, if you're going to sit one of those two guys, it makes sense for it to be Meyer, but it doesn't make sense. I guess Gonzalez can play third also, and Meyer's been at third. So I guess that's where they're planning. It's just hard because Refsnyder is so good at hitting lefties. Mm-hmm. It's not really about Roman Anthony. It's about you're at a disadvantage by not putting Ref in the lineup against a left-handed starter just because of what he does.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that's actually a really good point. Because I don't
like he's the best.
I mean, like sitting Duran doesn't really.
They're never going to sit Duran.
And sitting Rafaela, I think maybe, but it's like that doesn't. You're not adding a right-handed bat to that lineup. You're just subtracting another for one right-handed bat for another. I mean, I don't think Rafaela is as good against lefties as Refsnyder, but still.
Yeah, and I think they're living and dying by the like. In my opinion, I have no idea, but they're living and dying by the like. Rafaela's defense is so good that we can't sit him. Like that seems to be their frame of mind, which I don't know. The way that I've always played baseball, there's no defense that is worth sacrificing an at bat. And Rafael has been productive. He's not the best hitter on the team, but he's productive. But like, if Anthony really starts tearing the cover off the ball, or if Abreu comes back, it's like I'm probably putting Abreu in instead of Rafaela. But
yeah, there's also just like there is an element of this where I'm like, baseball is entertainment. Like we the fans, we are coming to see Roman Anthony. Like we are not coming to see. No offense to Rob Refsnyder, but like we aren't coming to see him. Mm-hmm. I think like it's just like it's weird because it kind of makes Roman Anthony. It either makes Roman Anthony look weak, which he isn't, or it makes the Red Sox look incompetent, which they might be. When you call up the number one prospect in baseball, you make a big deal out of it, and then you're like, oh, we're going to hide him when our biggest rival comes to town. And I don't really get that. But I also want to point out that like the Yankees come and here are their starters for the weekend. It's Ryan Yarbrough, Carlos Rodon, and Max Fried, who are all left-handed pitchers. Yeah. That means that for all 3 games of this Yankee series, we're not necessarily guaranteed to see Meyer or Anthony at all. I mean, I'm sure they'll pinch hit, but like that doesn't make a ton of sense to me. I understand that there is a big gap between left-handed pitching in AAA and the majors because if you're, I think, a lefty who's worth anything, you will immediately get called up. So like the lefties in AAA aren't very good. Mm-hmm. But it's like, hey man, how do these guys get better at hitting left-handed pitching without hitting left-handed pitching? Right,
and then that goes to the like, well, the thing with Christian Campbell, which he also mentioned that he's considering sending Christian Campbell down. That would be something that's been floated.
Yeah, I want to talk about that in a second when we talk about what Abreu coming back looks like. But that's
the reason I bring that up though is because the answer that any front office executive would give you is, well, we got to just send him back down to AAA. That's where they work on left-handed pitching. Like, guys, you cannot keep these guys in AAA.
Yeah, but also we just established that AAA lefties aren't good enough.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's like this is you've kind of dug yourself into a hole here because you're basically just saying like this is the way it's going to be. Yeah. My only thing, I agree with you about the business and everything, but if Refsnyder weren't such a potent left-handed crusher, that is what actually makes Cora's comments valid.
Yeah.
Like Ref is a bona fide destroyer of left-handed pitching. And I think that's we just have to field the team that wins games right now. If we get to August and we're 16, 17 games above 500. We're clearly getting in the playoffs. Then it's like, yeah, sure, great. Give them a few more at bats against lefties, work it out. But
Yeah. Well, but here's the thing: is like I don't understand why we don't the game doesn't because like similarly like yeah you can pinch hit for Roman Anthony can pinch hit later in the game, but like that also goes kind of you know that logic goes both ways because like you could I don't see what the issue is with starting an outfield that is Ref Snyder, Duran, and Anthony, and then uh the lefty comes Rodon or whoever comes off the mound and it's a close game and now you need a defensive upgrade in the outfield to hold that game close.
yeah,
That's a great time to sub out Ref Snyder for Rafaela. Like you're still addressing the team's needs, but like I think the Red Sox always do better when they score first. So I do think leveraging a lineup that is more likely to score early makes more sense. And that lineup doesn't include Rafaela because he's always a late in the game runners in scoring position guy.
yeah.
Ref Snyder brings more runs to the table early, and then you kind of sub in.
So all I ask is that we just play on paper for right now the most competitive offensive team. That's all I ask for. Like, if Ref Snyder is going to do lefties, keep playing him until he stops. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We're going to win ball games.
I guess, like, I think it's very strange and, like, counter to, I think, what we've been told or what the attitude's been, where it's like, oh, we're not calling up these guys unless they're everyday players. But like they're not everyday players if they have to sit whenever there's a left-handed pitcher.
Right.
And I went back and I did look at Devers and Duran to see like year by year what they got against how much time they got against left-handed pitching. And Devers got like 57 plate appearances in 2017 and then, worked his way up to 250 in 2021. And Duran kind of similar, like, he had 49 plate appearances in 2023 and then 230 last year. So like it is a thing, but I'm like, I don't know if like waiting 2 or 3 years for them to earn at bats against left-handed pitching is the right move with Marcelo Meyer and Roman Anthony, especially if like we're trying to win. Also, like, it's worth saying, like in the past, I mean, not in the 2020s, but with Devers at least, it's like, okay, that was your approach with Rafael Devers, but that was also 2017, 2018 when we were disgustingly good, when we were winning a World Series good, and we had the depth of talent to not miss a rookie like Devers when he, wasn't in the lineup. That's not the case here. Like we're not on the precipice of winning a World Series. We aren't on, we don't have a depth of talent to kind of fully cover our bases. I think in the way that we did in 2018 with Devers. I'm more of the mindset of like, let the kids play. Like, let's do what the 2024 Tigers did. Like, let the new kids play. And if we get hot, we make the playoffs, like, then that's even better. But like, this feels like, this just feels like we're overthinking it.
Yeah, that's where I was kind of, my final point was like, I don't think that much thought needs to go into it. I honestly just think, see who's hitting well in batting practice, put them in the fucking lineup. Like, I just think we need to win games. That is really all that matters right now. And sometimes it's deeper than that, but right now, like, we're still below 500.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think ultimately, as we've said, these are champagne problems to have. It's a good problem to be like, which one of these elite batters do we have to play in the game? I'm not sold on this comment made about Christian Campbell. When Abreu comes back, apparently it's been floated. I think this was also Mass Live who reported this, but it's been floated amongst Cora and other Red Sox executives that Campbell would be potentially sent down. That to me is a bad idea. That's how you kill someone's confidence right there. I would not do that, especially because They've been fucking with him. Play first base, play center field, play left
Seriously.
field, play second base. Don't send him down. That's the fact that we have Hamilton. I think, is that Eaton guy still up? Like, we have
No.
guys on our roster. Okay, no. So, like, Hamilton is the one that I would send down.
Yeah, absolutely send Hamilton down. Like or I mean, yeah, no, send Hamilton down. Like I don't even know why this is a question. This is so ass backwards stupid. I mean, Campbell's not this year been a great defender. In fact, I think he might be the worst second baseman technically in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Hamilton is no Gold Glove winning player either.
No.
Offensively, like Campbell at his peak this season, which I imagine like isn't his career peak, but is,
Right.
you know, clearly he's capable of a sustained being a sustained quality hitter. Hamilton shows zero indication that he is that guy on that consistent a
Yeah,
level.
Campbell has all-star capability.
Yeah.
Like, true major league all-star capability. Hamilton's like a good bit part player. He's a great major league roster piece to have. And
Yeah.
I'm not saying he can't become, but like Campbell's first month and a half, we were like thinking rookie of the year. He's just hit a
Yeah.
slump. I don't think sending him down is a good idea.
But also like talk about shooting yourself in the like foot with this kid's, I mean, kind of to your point, like this kid's morale, if he gets told he's being sent down, uh, you
Bad
know,
idea.
the we just got the big three together and then to immediately rip them apart just makes no sense.
Yeah, especially
Campbell,
because Campbell like isn't. I mean, he's played outfield a little bit, but like, where is the issue? Is not sending someone down for Abreu. The issue is making room for Abreu.
yeah,
So just sending someone, Campbell, he's playing second base, but he's not doing as well as he was, so we're just going to send him down. Like, that's not helpful.
yeah. I think sending down Campbell also means one less right-handed bat, which was a problem we were dealing with all of last year, and we have a few more, but like we don't still have. I think we are still majority on a given day. Like our lineup is majority lefty. It seems so stupid. It seems like they're doing it because Ken Rosenthal fucking wrote about it. And granted, I liked his piece. I thought it was
Sure.
interesting, but I don't know if Campbell going down to AAA like does us any good. I think it will do infinitely more harm. Uh, and also like just he's not going to like AAA is not the place to work it out because AAA is not Major League Baseball. Like AAA is not where you go if you're in a slump. Otherwise, Trevor Story would have been down there for a month. Like it's where you go when you aren't good enough to play the
Yeah.
majors, and like that's just at its core. Like Christian Campbell is clearly a good ball player.
Yeah, I don't think this is the move. I don't. Who knows with these reported rumors, like what's
Yeah,
really true and what's not? But that would be upsetting. That would
yeah.
be not. That's not the right call.
I think it is just like if that's what happens, it's like this just only lends further credence to the idea that like Craig Breslow is a fucking robot,
Yeah,
like who had no sense of like emotion or people and like what what works for fans, what works for the what it makes the broader how it makes the broader organization appear. I think John Henry would probably be like, "Hey, I just guaranteed this kid 80 to 100 million dollars. Like, what are you doing sending him down to Worcester?
yeah,
That makes me look like a fucking idiot."
yeah.
I
It's just not the right play. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't. I think there are like four other candidates that I would send down or DFA. I mean, I hate to say it, but
Yeah. I mean Connor Wong, you can't really send him down because you need a backup catcher, but like get him off the roster before you get Christian Campbell off.
yeah, yeah,
I will say also like there is a genuine question of like, okay, Roman Anthony, Willie Abreu comes back, where does he play? Like that's a separate question I think is a lot harder to well, it might not be harder to answer, but it's a different question.
mm-hmm.
Where do you think he fits into the lineup and or into the onto the field when he's back?
Anthony.
No, Abreu.
Oh, I mean, Abreu is the right fielder. Like he's hitting extremely well. He's slumped a little bit lately, but he's hitting extremely well, and he's won a Gold Glove. Um,
Yeah.
he's a guy that, like, you can tell other runners are not trying to run on him. Like he is an automatic stopgap for scoring extra runs on extra base hits because even 10 feet beyond the pesky pole, dudes are not trying to run on that arm. There's no chance. So I think that is one of the few times, like I said, there's a few examples, but very rare, where defense outweighs offense, but his offense is good too. I mean, he has had not the best last few weeks. Maybe this injury has been lingering and we don't know, but on paper, he's still one of the best hitters on the team. So
Yeah.
he's producing offensively and is exceptional on defense. He's the right fielder. What is interesting, this is again why Campbell is not, shouldn't even be a discussion. One of these outfielders is going to have to move. That is what's going to have to happen. Campbell is like papering. If you send Campbell down, or even, I mean, Hamilton is who should go down first, but like sending down David Hamilton or something, that's papering over the crack of like, we now have 5 guys that are exceptional, capable major league outfielders. Obviously, Ref Snyder being one of them is a platoon against lefties. Like that's his role. But he's gonna be on the team. He's clearly there for a reason. Like he's not going anywhere. Duran, Rafaela, Abreu, Anthony, those are all guys that are starting outfielders. So one of them, in my opinion, is gonna get traded or is gonna have to settle with like not playing a lot.
I mean, I imagine I'm still on the like I think it's time to trade Duran. Like I still kind of feel that way.
That's probably what's going to happen. Although I will say that prototypical leadoff hitter, we talked about this a lot. That's a hard guy to find these days, and he's been heating up. He's been picking it up. It's a scary prospect when you have a dude that gets on base and is going to second and potentially third.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that Rafaela's offensive production is good enough for him to be on base that frequently.
Yeah.
To me, it's most likely what's going to happen. Duran is going to get traded. I think we're probably going to see that regardless of if we go on a huge run and get to the playoffs. Like we probably won't see Duran on the team at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Weirdly, though, my inclination, if I were in charge and I could do what I wanted to do, I think it's Duran in center or Anthony in center, the other one in left, Abreu in right. That's field.
Yeah,
that's my field. I don't think Rafaela. He's been better. He's had a couple clutch hits. He had that weird like Fenway walk-off home run.
308
he's the
feet.
least. Yeah, he's the least productive of the 3, and the other guys are not. I mean, Anthony, we'll see, but Abreu and Dan are not schmucks on defense by any stretch of the imagination. That's not a huge step down defensively. So, you know, we saw it for so many years with Jackie Bradley Jr. He had one really good offensive season and then 8 with the Red Sox non-competitive offensive seasons for really good defense. We won a World Series with it, but at a certain point, you kind of look at some of those years we crapped out in the playoffs or didn't quite make it. Like, was it worth it? I don't know. So, to me, that's my outfield. I'd probably go Duran left, Anthony center, Abreu right, because Duran's used to playing that Fenway wall. It's all lefties, obviously, and then Ryder plays left-handed pitching instead of one of the 3, whoever's slumping most.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're keeping Rafaela in because he's right-handed, but that's what I would do. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, so I think right now with the players that are on this roster, with the players that we have, Ceddanne Rafael's versatility defensively is more valuable to me than his talent singularly at center field. He can't, I mean, he might not play them all as well as center field, but he can competently play multiple positions. And so he provides depth, and we have enough outfielders. So it's like, I think to me, that's like a no-brainer. It's like, just like, what do we need? We need depth. We need guys who can play multiple positions. Oh, hey, you can do that.
That's the thing. He
Like,
plays infield too, so
yeah.
like it's not like he has to be out in center field. I mean, he
And he's a great guy
if
to pinch hit when runners are on. Like,
yeah, I think it's actually a pretty easy decision. That's why the
yeah.
Campbell thing doesn't really make sense. Like Hamilton's not really being used other than pinch running. He hasn't been
Yeah.
a good pinch hitter this year. He hasn't really started many games.
Yeah.
He's not playing in the important games. So
Right.
trade him or DFA him, or he has an option. So send him down. Like it's not.
So
Rafaela can pick up the slack in the infield.
so let me ask you this though. So Abreu comes back and let's say the Red Sox do the smart thing and they demote
Sure,
Hamilton.
Hamilton.
What happens when Bregman comes back up?
That's the bigger problem.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I have
No
no
fucking idea.
idea.
I think it's like, oh, are they going to go back to the Campbell at first idea? But like, it's been such a like I that feels like that felt like a really risky idea back when it was being floated. I don't know if it's a good idea now either.
It's
Um,
also like really difficult because first base is arguably our most productive offensive position right now.
yeah,
If I mean I'm just saying like and I know baseball's a business, but if I'm Abraham Toro and Bregman comes back, I get benched for someone who got a 640 OPS. Campbell hasn't been as good lately. I'm like, what the fuck, bro? I'm fucking tearing the cover off the ball. I'm making gold glove plays here first base. Like, why am I getting benched? I'm
yeah.
winning us. He is like contributing to winning games, you know? So, same as Gonzalez. I'm like, dude, why are we getting benched? I have no idea. That's the one where the outfield thing is easier for me. This one's hard. I don't think they're down. I would be very surprised. I don't. Ultimately, that is probably what's going to happen. Is they'll move one of those guys to first base, the rookies,
Hmm.
but then we're going to get rid of a lot of offensive production at first base.
Yeah.
Which like Bregman's offensive production is like you have to have that guy in the lineup, but oh my god, I really don't know if Meyer goes on a tear. I mean, he just hit 2 home runs. If he starts ripping the cover off the ball, like what are they going to do?
I mean, truly, I think like,
Trades?
well, let's. I guess you could. Yeah, obviously, like I think you make Duran a super utility guy. You bench
Right.
him. You trade Duran. You put. I think Campbell only plays center, so Campbell to center, Anthony to left,
Mm-hmm.
and then Meyer to second, or Story to second, Meyer to short, Bregman at third. All of those like gymnastics that I just did were so fucking stupid. It's just like Red Sox. What did we do here? What did we build? Like this is the most messy roster I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of roadblocks. There's a lot of log jams. It's also made hard. Again, this is a good problem to have, but it's made hard by guys that are not supposed to be that good producing at a really high level.
Yeah.
The fact that Toro is ripping the ball is like a good problem. You're like, fuck, this
I
guy's
mean,
hitting.
I do think like there is also an argument to be like, okay, yeah, like Toro's producing a lot for us offensively, but like we know what Toro is not a long-term solution for this ball club. Um, and if we are, you know, if we are buyers at the deadline, then like we do need starting pitching. Like, does
Mm-hmm.
does Toro
Mm-hmm.
become valuable to another team?
That
Does
was
Roman
my
Ant
last point is trades. Trades is something we haven't really discussed other than Duran. One of those guys could get traded.
Yeah, Romy Gonzalez could get traded.
Yep.
Um, I mean, and it would just like sucks because it's like, yeah, those guys have value, but like also this is how trades
Yeah.
work. Like the way some people talk about trades, I'm like, like this isn't the show. Um, 9 times out of 10, like a trade makes both teams unhappy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's definitely up in the air. I mean, they're gonna obviously have to, something's gonna have to change.
yeah.
I think it's so interesting too because like Toro's a switch hitter, so there's not even a platoon. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
I don't know, man. We're gonna have to just wait and see. I really have no idea. Like
Yeah.
that Bregman situation is one of those things where I'm like, we're just gonna have to deal with that when it comes because he's gonna have to get back in the lineup. There's
Yeah.
no world in which Bregman's not hitting third for us. But
Well, they should have a clearer idea of what his injury timeline is
yeah,
soon.
I don't know.
Um,
Um, We'll see. I think a trade. I think we are going to be selling regardless of where we are because we have too many guys. We have not enough quality pitching, and we have too many guys playing the same position.
Yeah.
It's kind of this weird, like, it's almost like this is like a little league team. Like, hey, Johnny, can you go play first base next inning? Mikey, can you play third? It's like, what the fuck is going on? Like, Meyer is not a third baseman. Campbell's not a center fielder. Gonzalez is kind of like at third and first sometimes. And Abreu's playing sometimes. And Ref is playing sometimes. And then, oh, Connor Wong's in there now. It's like, what is going on? Like,
yeah.
I miss the days, dude. Like, when we were kids, the whole, like, platoon thing was so much less frequent. I miss the days when it was like, you have your 9 guys that play every day.
Yeah.
That was the best, dude. Like, OG Red Sox, 2004, it was like, other than like Pokey Reese and Mark Bellhorn sometimes at second base, it's like, you know who's catching, you know who's at short until they traded Nomar. You know who's at third, you know who's playing, like, I don't know. So anyway.
So Ian Brown from MLB.com said with Bregman that, you know, when he went down, a lot of people compared it to his injury in 2021 when he missed 10 weeks with that left quad injury. Fortunately, the right quad seems to be recovering much better. Bregman is already running. So what he's heard from people is that Bregman wants to be, Bregman wants to be back playing for the Sox in early July.
Man, that gives us a lot of stuff to think about. That's for sure.
I think like that's like that only like Bregman only helps us line up. I mean, unless we like,
no, he has to be in the lineup.
I think unless we like fully 2011, Jesus Christ, unless we like fully collapse, you know, I'm like, if we were in last place down like 10 or 15 games, I'd be like, no, just trade him. But I don't think that's,
I
don't think that's the move. I fucking extend him is the move. Extend him, Craig.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's a hard job, dude, running a team that has high expectations. Like if you're the White Sox, it's like, no one gives a shit. Just send some other guy down. But like,
well, I mean, if you're the White Sox, now you're like, fuck, the Pope watches us.
Yeah, I know. You saw that? That's crazy.
So wearing the White Sox hat.
Yeah,
I was like, I didn't know you could do that as Pope. I didn't know you were allowed to wear baseball hats.
Pretty cool.
So funny. Do you want to get to the MLB stuff?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
So the Athletic did their annual player poll, which is always super fun. You can check that out on their website. They, of course, talk about like, you know, they ask players like, who's your favorite player to watch? Everyone said Shohei, yada, yada, yada. What I found really interesting was the section they did on sports betting.
Yes.
So they asked 133 players if legalized sports betting had changed how fans treat them and their teammates, and 78% said yes, which is not shocking. And also like, that doesn't mean necessarily that they feel like it's changed the sport for the better or the worse.
Yeah.
But if you keep reading the article, like it's pretty clear that most of them feel like it's for the worse.
Yeah. I mean, the comment about, I read this actually before you put it in our outline for this episode, but I read the comment about the outfielder who was like, I hear people in the outfield saying like, I just bet on you to hit a home run. And then it's like putting all this weird, like unnecessary pressure in his head. Like we've talked about this already, but the comments that have been made to like Liam Hendricks, the comments that have been made to, who's the Houston pitcher?
Lance McCullers Jr.
Lance McCullers, right. That I think does come from sports betting. And it's hard because it's like consenting adults want what consenting adults want. But that's a tough one for me to wrap my head around. I mean, I've put bets down on sports before. I don't do it really frequently at all. I haven't done it in a long time, but it's concerning. I mean, this is concerning. Like it's becoming this, like, this guy is the reason why I didn't pay my bills this week. And it's like, well, no, you are, because you are stupid and you bet your money on shit. You bet money that you couldn't afford to bet. But yeah, I don't know. What do you think of all this?
I mean, I've been very clear about how I feel about sports betting. I did a whole interview with Jonathan Cohen, who wrote this book called Losing Bet, about our sports gambling problem in this country. And you're all welcome to go back to that episode and check it out. I mean, some of these quotes are just like really damning. Like one player said, I don't want to say this, but something bad is going to happen. And it's going to be like, we told you so. That quote from that outfielder is also pretty bad.
Yeah.
You just like,
go watch Uncut Gems. Check it out for yourself.
It's just like, this is such a frustrating thing, because there are just like so many risks and dangers posed to players, or so many vulnerabilities to the game. I mean, I really don't think you can rule out that like maybe these umpires make bad calls because it financially benefits them to do so now. Like, and yes, I am implying that that umpires bet on baseball games in order to, make money. It's just like it's becoming an increasingly pervasive problem. Also, the advertising is just everywhere. Like, I feel like we're drowning in ads for FanDuel or DraftKings or
Yeah, it's a
whatever.
lot. And even
The fuck?
do they, a lot of other leagues, I don't know if MLB has some betting sponsors like on the jerseys, you know?
Yeah, I don't think we have any on the jerseys. I know that
Yeah.
NHL has them on helmets, and one player in the NHL got banned for betting on sports. I'm like, but he's also repping Caesar Sportsbook every night. Like,
Mm-hmm.
are we so? Do you think we're that stupid?
Yeah, I do think there needs to be some kind of regulatory, like it's a huge issue. And I do believe what I said about the Hendricks stuff, that comes from guys who put bets down that didn't hit.
Yeah,
That's what that is. Fuck you, but it's like, nah, you fuck you because you just lost all your money. That's why you're angry. Yeah, man, I think it's a problem. I definitely think we, as a country, I mean, it's like alcohol, though. It's like, as a country, we have a problem with alcohol,
mm-hmm.
and you're allowed to do it, but, like, there has to be, in my opinion, especially with the advertisement in the sport, I completely agree with you. Some kind of, like, we can't advertise this way. I mean, alcohol now, they're not allowed to, for a while, they haven't been allowed to have people drinking in the commercial. I think there just needs to be a crackdown on, how this can be pushed to people because it causes a lot of problems.
Yeah,
Also, I think we should be taking the players' feelings and thoughts into account with this stuff because they're the ones that get impacted by it the most. They're the ones who are like making the money for people. You know what I mean?
totally. Yeah, I mean,
So anyway, it was just,
yeah,
I agree with you. I read that article and was like, wow, it's really wild. Like these guys are very aware of what's going on, and it seems like most of them really don't like it.
yeah.
I want to talk a little bit, just very quickly, about the umpiring thing because this is a huge problem, and there's been 3 ejections that I encourage all of you to go look up. One is the Bueller ejection is now 2 weeks ago. Mike Estabrook was the home plate umpire, who's like he's been around for like 20 years, not a good umpire, but he instigated the situation. So Bueller threw a pitch. I'm not going to say it was right down the middle, but it was very clearly in the strike zone. It was on a throw down to, it was against, we played the Mets a couple weeks ago. Estabrook wasn't paying attention, or maybe because Narvaez popped up to called it a ball. It's clearly a strike. Bueller got upset and said it's right down the middle, and Estabrook immediately rips his mask off and cuts the distance and starts screaming at him. Bueller yells back at him. He gets ejected. Estabrook instigated the situation. It's on him. Number 2 is this Nico Horner one, where the pitch and very clearly not a strike. And he turns around at strike 3, and I think he is walking out of the box. He walks toward the ump and says, "You're having a horrible game." Just like, not great to say for sure, but that's not ejection worthy. Immediately gets tossed. That's I think literally you can read Council's lips. He's like, "What are you doing? That's nothing." That is nothing. That's pathetic. To get ejected for that is pathetic. And then number 3 is the Tanner Walls one where he taps his helmet. I think either accidentally or intentionally insinuating, this is the sign they do for the review and spring training.
Mm-hmm.
Take a look at the balls and strikes. But again, the pitch is way out of the zone. I don't think unless you're really picking a fight with the umpire, then you should get ejected. But these guys are soft, man. And it's pathetic. Man, I had enough of it. And it's hard to watch not only Red Sox games, as we discussed, it's cost us a few different times. Excuse me. It's hard to watch games as a neutral. That Cubs game, I just put that on TV because I had nothing to do. It was like a weekend game. I was like, what the fuck? Why did he get ejected for that? Like, nobody is going to the ballpark to see guys get ejected. Nobody cares about the umpires. I don't care what your fucking name is. I like the fact that when we have guys that do perfect games as umpires, we don't know their names.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about you, dude. Like, we're paying fucking $90 a ticket to go see the Dodgers, to go watch Shohei Ohtani. Yeah. I'm not paying $90 to go see Mike Estabrook and Hunter Wendelstadt. I don't want to know your name. And at this point, the umpires union has way, in my opinion, again, I'm pro union. I'm not make that clear. I'm not anti union, but they have way too much power and influence on what Major League Baseball does. It's extremely hard to get umpires suspended. It's extremely hard to get umpires fined. It's extremely difficult to remove umpires from crews in the playoffs, in the postseason. I mean, I know Angel Hernandez had that gripe that he never umped a World Series game. He umped plenty of crucial postseason games.
Yeah,
that he was not qualified to umpire. So,
including back in 2018.
I mean, you went to that game. He had 4 calls overturned at first base. That's unacceptable. That is unacceptable. So I'm just ranting at this point, but it's very frustrating that we as paying customers, I pay for MLB TV, I go to a lot of baseball games, like we have to watch that shit. And it happens every fucking game. That's enough. Like, that's crazy. Bring the robots in. Seriously. I used to be against that too. I was never, oh, well, it's a job. I'm like, man, these guys, they're just making it worse.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know what you think about that. That's just my one MLB overall point. I was infuriated with the Nico Horner one. That's just unacceptable.
Yeah. I mean, listen, you're not saying anything that I don't agree with. There's nothing really more that I can add to that. Do you want to count that as your thorn?
Yeah, I was gonna say it anyway. Let's do Rose and Thorn. That's my thorn. Like that was gonna be anyway. I'm just so upset by it. And when I play in my men's league, we have shitty umpires, but they're getting paid like $40 or whatever. It's like, all right, I get it. But dude, these guys make good salaries, and these guys are like, I'm pretty sure they have pensions. Like, they have a good situation. You better fucking get it together, man. Because this is not okay.
I totally agree. Let's see. Let's see. For my, do you want to do your rose as well?
Go. You can do your thorn. I'll do my rose after.
I think my thorn is going to be like for 98.5, half of the men on Twitter, and Barstool, like everyone who's been writing about Rowan Anthony's sister. Put your dick away. Put your
that's so gross. I know.
Chlamydia-ridden pee in your pants. Fucking animals.
Yeah.
Like, why are we thirsting over this guy's? Like, leave her alone. First of all.
Yeah, grody, big time grody. I was gonna bring that up earlier. I was like, oh, come on, guys, that's weird.
It's so lame. Like,
yeah.
Let's just watch. Like, she's just there for her brother, like minding her business. Even if she were like, hey, everybody, look at me, I'm so cool. Like, I still don't think that's.
Yeah, that's like weird to zoom in on a fan. Just like, damn, that girl's hot. Like, it's like, are you in fucking 6th grade? Like,
yeah,
that's like, weird.
I mean, and it's like, yeah, of course she's good looking. Have you seen Roman Anthony? He's a very handsome fella.
Yeah, it's strange. It's also funny that, like, if that were his brother, they would never do that. You know what I mean?
His brother was there. They didn't do it.
There's a reason they didn't do it,
Also, just like, I think sends the really, like, I mean, Boston media has always kind of been shit. But I think it really just, like, I mean, if I'm Roman Anthony, I'm like, cool, I'm not going to talk to any of you assholes ever because you all keep talking about how you want to, like, have sex with my sister. Like, that's just inappropriate. It's just not, you don't get a new coworker and you're like, hey, man, Jim in accounting, that new guy, sister's hot. Like, that's fucking insane.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked. That's some, like, 1960s shit.
Stupid.
I'm with you there. So my rose is I think it's Luis Angel, the guy from the Mets, Luis Angel Acuna.
Yeah.
So I went to the Dodgers game last Wednesday with some friends of ours against the Mets, and he was not in the game, and he decided, it was his day off, to wear the full catcher's gear in the dugout, and he was just goofing around. Like, he had his mask on, and like any foul ball that came into the dugout, he would catch, and he would frame it like a catcher. And I love that. I love when guys have a good time playing this game, because I know we're always like, oh, they're a bunch of millionaires and they get paid, but like, it's a kid's game. And I love seeing young, exciting players enjoy their time in the major leagues. I think he's only, let me look him up. I think it's Luis Angel. Yeah, that's him. He's 23, dude. I love that. I love a young kid having a good time playing baseball. And it just really kind of warmed up my heart a little bit. I was like, man, I know it's stressful being a pro athlete. There's a lot of stuff that comes with it, but that was just really fun. So that's my rose.
Yeah, that's always, I mean, we talk about this a lot. It is a game, Uh, we should be having fun. It should be silly sometimes. Especially like in June, like because the season is so long. Like these are the months where you should have some fun. I'm gonna give my rose to any of the fans, Red Sox fans out there who bought Roman Anthony jerseys with the number 48 before he changed it to 19.
Yeah.
My heart goes out to you. But now you have a
Yeah.
very special piece of
Dude,
memorabilia.
I'm all about that. I think that's fire. Who was it? Was Betts always number 50?
Betts was always 50.
There was someone that
72.
The Bogarts is who I was thinking of. I know a few people who got custom jerseys that say Bogart 72, and it's pretty sick. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So very fun.
Yeah.
Well, Yankees tomorrow.
Yankees tomorrow.
It's another big week. I mean, June is a big month, so we'll have to wait and see. But hopefully, we can keep it together. Let's keep the ball rolling.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, guys. As always, Spotify, Apple, subscribe to the Substack,
TikTok. It's just not from Boston.
Yeah,
all the above.
Instagram, not from Boston Pod, and we'll see you guys next week.
See ya.
All right.